Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. I'm your host, and we got two special guests with us, Whitey Outlaw, and then we got Joe Dennis, which is a captain, a guide, someone who knows everything you need to know about fishing on Santee Cooper. And we're gonna ask him all the good questions and wait till the very end because he said he would share waypoints with you. So make sure you watch till the very end. Let's just start. Let's start with you. How did I get here? Why am I here? And what are you doing here?
Well, I'm part of the TV show with Joe. Me and him co-host the show together. And I was born and raised here on Santee Cooper. And I've been knowing you for a long time on the road, different camps and different tournaments and stuff. And, I've been tournament fishing 40-something years, and that's what I do. And, hey, I love the sport of crappie fishing, and I love the outdoors, and that's been my whole life. So that's why I'm in.
Yeah, well, the real question is, how do you put up with him all the time, Joe? I mean, seriously, you are like a blessing to everyone else to put the throttle, put the governor.
Well, me and Whitey's been together for about 5-6 years. It took a little while to get my skin a little tough because he hurt your feelings once in a while. But I'm going to tell you, I've learned a lot from that man right there. I mean, he's easy to work with. We got a good thing going here, but he, just watch him.
It's all fun. It's all fun, man. If you
time.
Can't, fishing is fun. It's supposed to be fun for everybody. And I guess in the years that I've been on the road tournament fishing, it took a lot of fun away from it because it was serious business. And I was pretty fair at what I did, and I've always been good with the sponsors. And me and him hooked up, and we built a pretty good TV show, and we're in the top 40 on Pursuit channel. So we must be got something pretty decent. So.
Well, let's get the truth behind how you two ended up with this TV show, because he has his own version. So we'll let you, Joe, tell us the real version.
Well, I seen his picture up at the post office. I said he'd be good on TV. No,
he's like Sling Blade, old Carl. I like the way you talk. I started the show about 8 years ago, and we started getting my sponsors, and as a business sense, I said, Whitey Outlaw, great TV I seen him, watched him on his other show before he came on with us, and just found out he was not doing some TV. I said, man, I need to get him on the show.
Okay.
And for just a good personality, had the good voice, and he's a pretty decent fisherman. So
right.
But we made a few phone calls and talked and got together, and just we seem to blend. We don't disagree. We always meet somewhere where it works out best for us. We don't really argue too much. Once in a while he'll get on me, but that's, the outlaw in him.
Hey, even the best of them got to be chastised.
But got together, put our sponsors together, and started out with ABC. And, was with ABC for a few years, and then we got picked up by Pursuit Channel, national. So, and then about a year ago, me and Whitey talked. NBC offers a better time spot.
Right.
And just a lot more viewers, so we jumped right on it. But we've been doing it for 5 or 6 years, and it's worked out pretty good.
Yeah. What do you think the biggest challenge is about having a TV show? Is it the content? Or?
No, the content comes easy. I mean, for me it does, because up on the up end of the lake, I got so much stuff up there to fish, and swamp, open water, ditches, canals, the stuff that the average guy don't see on TV is on the upper end of this lake. We got miles of swamp, and that's where I cut my teeth, and that's where I was raised up in there. And swamp people, they put a lot of stuff on TV, the stuff we've been doing for years. We never got rich doing it, though.
Right.
We just done it for the hell of it, the fun. But the content comes easy. It's the biggest challenge we got is his schedule and mine, because I still run my own business, and he's got his guide business, and he's booked, and I'm booked. And so whenever the fish are really biting, we got to rush in, get one done, put it in the can,
Right.
And some of the shows has been so close that it'd be a week before they aired, we'd get the show done and get the Pursuit, because, we wanted to make sure they were good and the fish biting enough, to make good shows.
Uh-huh.
And we've got a lot of support around this lake. Santee Cooper country helps us, and a lot of the stores around here, like Hills Landing and all, right here where we're sitting today.
Yep.
They kind of got our back, and some other landings on the upper end, like Poplar Creek and stuff. But the content comes easy, man. When I say easy, it just go do what you love.
Right.
And I've been fortunate enough I can fish most any way that you can think of and catch them. I ain't bragging; it's just a fact. And I proved that for years on the tournament trail. You know, if it comes from standing on your head catching one, I'll try that if that's what it takes. But so far, we've had a good run, built a good TV show, built some good reputations, and try to take as many children and first responders that we can fishing.
Right.
And, you know, we take a lot of retired military fishing, and it don't always get to the TV channels. And when I say that, because you got all these privacy acts and stuff now, you can't put just anybody up there and stuff.
Right.
So, but you know, it's been a good run. I've enjoyed it, and tournament fishing's helped me adapt to that, because I don't know if you remember the old bass fishing, Charlie Ingram.
Yep.
He partnered with Crappie USA 20-something years ago, and they opened up Crappie University and Bass University.
Right.
Well, I hosted Crappie University for 5 seasons, and then I helped Russ Bailey on Brush Pile. I've done 7, 8 shows with him down here on Santee, and one in Florida with him. And so I've been on TV a lot, and that don't mean that I'm good at it, but it don't bother me to be there. I can talk and do whatever I need to do to make it. And, you know, I get a lot of people say, man, what part of Louisiana are you from? I ain't from Louisiana. I'm from right in. But it's been fun, and you know, like I said the other night, you know, last night, I'm gonna get out of the tournament fishing, because time for me to go. It's been 40-something years, and I'm gonna hand it over to the young fellas, and I'm gonna work with him on the show more, and piddle around up there in my little world in that swamp where I go fishing and don't see boats for days. That's my kind of deal.
There you go.
Just me and Jesus. That's the way I like it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the easiest part of the show was just knowing the lakes you're fishing. These lakes right here, you know, Moultrie, I know like the back of my hand. Whitey knows Marion and Moultrie like the back of his hand. And there's been shows where we got in the boat with minnows, crickets, live herring, and went out there and did a full show with every species on Santee.
Yep.
Just
Nothing
playing, live action. You'll see a lot of, you know, just total mayhem going off when you got, you know, a catfish on that rod, a striper on that rod, and maybe a crappie on another one. So it's easy when you know the lakes, know what's biting at certain times, and what he was talking about. A lot of times with having to show 5 days before time to put it on the air. We do that way. When them people see that show, they're going, okay, that show aired January 1st, and they catching crappie in the swamp. They know, hey, go.
And you know, the other thing is, I ain't gonna say we won't have to do it, but we have not yet had to tie any on and dummy fish. I can tell you that everything's been caught on camera. So
we've had a lot of fish just 2 or 3 hours and have more footage than you would need.
Right.
2 shows almost.
Yep.
Let's talk about fishing. You, what do you normally guide for?
You know, my favorite fish in the world to guide for on these lakes is stripers. You know, I know striper fishing on Santee. You know, I do catfish and redfish and trout. I do some brim trips, but stripers is I've kind of keyed my fishing skills on stripers. Most of my clients, when they come in, they want to catch striped bass, and it's a fun fish. You know, you go out there and sometimes you get schools come under you and every rod go down. That's just exciting to me.
Right. What is the length limit, and what's the number of fish you can?
We can
stripers?
have 3 fish. There's a slot limit, 23 to 25. You can have 3 fish. Out of those 3 fish, if you catch a 26 or bigger, you can keep that 1 fish. So you can have 3 over 23 to 25, or 2 slot fish and 1 we call it a trophy fish, 26 or bigger.
Okay.
That's all 3 purposes.
How heavy is a 26-inch striper average?
Average springtime, you're looking at about a 8-pound fish. Most of them's probably 6.5.
What do they? What's the average size of a striper that you're catching?
Probably 24 inches.
24 inches.
I mean, there's all sizes. Sometimes,
Yeah.
been several shows. Me and Whitey get into a school of 22 3/4 and catch 25 or 30, and then
Right.
move half a mile and then start hitting nothing but slot fish.
Right.
So it's a very rich environment on Santee when it comes to stripers. You'll catch them. We probably caught fish from 15 inches to almost 30 inches in some shows.
So we're at Hills Landing RV. Tell us a little bit. It's on the canal. Tell us a little bit about how these two reservoirs they're connected.
Well, they started Moultrie first.
Okay.
Back in the late 30s, and they cut all the trees out of Moultrie. Then they went into Marion and started cutting, and World War II broke out, so they stopped cutting all of Lake Marion and put all the manpower, and they wanted to start power for the shipyard and everything down in Charleston. So they built, I think the canal was built more like a flow. If you notice those rocks in the middle of the canal, that's set up as a barrier in case one of the dam breaks on the lower lake. You got three camps. You got Blacks, Hills, and Canals are your main fish camps on the lakes. But the diversion canal was a connection for flow and a precautionary flow for the dam in case it cracked, of course.
Okay.
I think Hills has been here since, 60s?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, early 60s. Yep.
It's one of the older camps. Blacks has been here for a while. Canal might be the youngest.
Right. Okay. When did they start flooding it? When did they start filling them? Early 60s?
No.
No.
Early 40s.
Really?
Yeah, early 40s, like 40, like 1940.
Right before World War II.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So they're a lot older than like the White River chain of reservoirs that were 60, 64 and 67.
Yep.
And so
And
that's
this is an old lake.
Wow,
here.
that
Old
is.
lakes. Yep.
They started producing power right at World War II from Jeffries at Pinopolis.
wow. Wow. So let's talk about what do you think your best show was, and what were you catching? What do you think your number one show was that you were?
This year, it's everybody loves the swamp shows. But as far as one with me and Whitey together, we had a pretty exciting show in December. We planned to go striper fishing, and we stopped in the canal. Whitey said, "Hey, you think we can hang a big catfish on TV?" Well, we was there 5 minutes, and we hung one and fought him for about 30 minutes, and he broke us off. And about 10 minutes later, we hung one. It was 80 pounds on probably the smallest rod that you could catch a catfish on, the Striper Stealth medium light from Catch the Fever. Once we caught him, we run out to the lake, and within a matter of maybe an hour and a half, we probably caught 35 to 40. Run out of bait in about an hour and a half on stripers.
Wow.
That was an exciting show for me.
But the catfish we caught was a little over 80 pounds.
80 pounds.
Yeah. He
What's
was
the
good.
lake record here?
113.
Yeah.
113.
Yeah.
But as far as comments and everything, and why do you agree? The scenery in the swamp. When we do the swamp fishing, it's live action. There's me in the front filming. I don't fish in the swamp. We key in on Whitey's perfection.
We're fishing in a little 14-foot John.
Oh,
Scalp
so you're
around
basically waiting for him to fall in the gator to eat him.
Well, let me tell you, there's some big gators in there. But
There's gators here, right?
Oh, plenty of them. Plenty of them.
Plenty of them.
the comments from the scenery and the way he's fishing, and you
Right.
pull up in a big, thick grass mat, and he'll dig a hole and drop that jig in there and pull out a slab. It's like people love that.
And I tell you something else that they really liked. We didn't do it this year, but one time, but year before last or last year, we done an old timey brim show. Well, I'm on the front paddling.
Wow, sculling. Yeah.
Paddling, facing the wind, letting the wind blow the smell of the brim in my face, and I keep track it down until I track right through the brim bed, and we flipping a cart and a cricket, and they're catching them, and man, we got a lot of reviews on that. Matter of fact, I think Pursuit uncored it one time and played it again, because they got so much off of it. Because you don't ever see that. You don't see no old fishing and old timey fishing, and that's what I do. And we try to target. I don't worry about tournament fishermen. They gonna do their own deal. I try to target the guy that's trying to learn, the guy that's out here every week that wants to come to these lakes and learn how to fish these lakes. So we try to show as much, tell as much as we can for people that that really want to get into it, young people and older guys too. And when them shows air, telephones blow up, text messages, Facebook messages. Man, what do you do? What are you looking for? What you smelling? They're smelling for the brim, looking for the bubbles where they fan in the bed and the bubbles come up. And what they look like, and tell them I said, look like a little pot of soap suds, I said, you got to know what you're looking for. And we showed all that on TV and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
One of our probably more sensitive shows, we had a little boy had brain cancer, and we did a show.
I wouldn't go. I couldn't do it, and he asked me to do it, and I said I'll narrate it, I do talking. I said, but I'm not going. I cannot do that.
Right.
We did the show, and he wasn't doing very well. Pursuit swapped everything out and aired that show the next week.
Wow.
And it was a two-parter. It was that week was part one. The second week was part two. He didn't get to see part two.
Oh,
Passed away right
It's too
after
bad.
part one. It's like he was waiting on
Wow.
to see that. It was his dream to go saltwater fishing,
uh-huh.
and he got to see himself on TV, and then
Passed
wasn't
away.
long after that. So.
He got sick right after they fished and got in the hospital and never went home. And I got a lot of grandkids and I got little kids, and he called me about that. He said, we got a chance to do that. I said, no. White boy here can't do it. I'm sorry, I cannot. I just too tenderhearted for that. I can't do it, and I can't help it. And no matter how grouchy they think I am, when it comes to children and old people, I got a tender heart. I can't see nothing go bad.
Soft side Outlaw.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if I could only fish with one of you, who should I fish with? And tell me the reason why I should fish with you. I'll start with you.
Depends on what you want to catch.
No, I only got one day.
One day.
Who am I going with?
Well, if it's windy, you need to go with me. I can get you in the swamp.
All
If
right.
it's not windy, you need to go with Joe.
You can't
right.
go wrong either way.
Well, I'm thinking I win both ways.
You
so,
win. You win. You win.
But Whitey's always, everybody knows Whitey for crappie, but I talked him into going and doing a bass show a while back, and that's nothing. These bass fishermen spend all this money to go catch 3
I'm
4
going to tell
bass.
you something. He took me down here on a place I've never been, right below this lake here.
Santee River.
And I got a bunch of bass mounted on the wall, anywhere from 10 to 13 and a half. I caught jigging for crappie. I've never thrown a bass lure in my life to that day. We got down there and went through these rocks and stuff in this mud boat and got out there, and the water wasn't about that deep. I thought, well, this ain't going to be much. I said, but I'm here. I'll make the best of it. He had me a rod. There was about 8-pound, 10-pound line, a little plastic worm with a hook, no lead.
Trick worm.
I said, what the hell is that? He said, this is the deal. I said, okay. He throwed it over there by a log. I seen about 6 fish come on that log and hit it. I said, that ain't bad. All of them about 2 pounds, Follow it. I sat there. I said, they need to get in there. I cast out there and I started working on them. I worked on them pretty good that day. And I don't know. I think we probably caught close 65 bass that day.
Wow.
All largemouth.
You'd catch one and be 5 and 6
Running.
trying to take the worm out of his mouth. So
He'd be winding up there, and I could flip mine right behind where he got one and catch one right there side of the boat. It was the daggonest thing I ever seen. But on average, if you say bass fish, go ahead. I'll catch you later. I don't care nothing about that.
that was fun, though. It was fun.
There you go. That takes us to Tackle Time. Tackle Time is sponsored by PICO Lures. PICO Lures has a complete line of hard and soft baits. You can check them out at picolures.com. Hey, if they want to find out more, Joe, about your guide service, where would they go? And more about you.
Well, they can always give me a call. I fish right out at Santee Cooper.
Okay.
Got accommodations, hotels, cabins to stay in.
All right.
I do 1 to 5 day trips, whatever they want. Catfish, striper, brim, we send all the crappie trips to the other outlaw.
There you go, Matt.
So,
Yeah.
when it comes to crappie, he's the man.
Right.
He's the man. But,
All right.
my cell phone number is 843-245-3762. My Facebook is Joseph Dennis, and then I have my charter captain is Captain J. Hook Charters. So.
All right.
But the best way, or they can Google Captain Joe Dennis on Santee, and I'll pop right up. So,
All right. Whitey.
If they need to get in touch with me, they just private message me on Facebook or whatever, and either get in touch with Joe, because Joe's got the number how to get in touch with me and stuff. So
how about social media?
Social media, all you gotta do is log in on something and private message me, and they'll get me. And I mean, call any of the sponsors you see on our show; they can get you in touch with me and stuff like that. But hey, come to Santee Cooper, guys, and try it out. Give us a holler. We'll get you set up somewhere you can catch some fish and nice place to stay. So come on down.
And you can, a lot of the stuff is on SanteeCooperCountry.org.
Oh, good.
All
right.
right. The fish camps, the captains. There's all types of captains on this lake. You got shell cracker captains, crappie.
Okay.
And I do it all, but you have some captains that specialize in individual species. And
all right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, that takes us to the end of the show. Like I always like to end the show, make sure you keep your hook sharp and your lures in the water.